Everybody's talking about Claude skills and Claude plugins. And today I'm going to show you how to take them to the next level by mapping Claude skills and plugins to actual roles within your law firm, a paralegal or a legal assistant or an associate attorney. And I'll show you how to break down what they do into tasks and steps, and then how we can start to map those tasks and steps so that Claude CoWork can support them in their day-to-day activities. If you don't know who I am, my name is Masai and I work directly with boutique law firms to build AI automations and help you guys get the most out of AI tools like Claude CoWork. So let's get right into this video. We are in CoWork right now, looking at the CoWork main screen. In order to navigate to plugins, what we do is we come over here to the left-hand side, to this little box-looking, suitcase-looking sort of thing. Click on that, and then down here we have personal plugins. If you are on a Teams or Enterprise plan, you will also see, I believe, organization plugins will be here as well. So this is where things get really useful if you have those organization plugins, because what I'm about to share with you is going to be even more applicable for you because you have those organization plugins. But basically, we have skills here, which are the individual capabilities, right? So creating a client, Clio documents, legal docs, Clio contacts, etc., etc. Then in plugins, we have collections of skills. So here's where we're talking about how we take roles in a firm, whether it's paralegal, whether it's the marketing team, whether it's a sales team, whether it's billing or accounting, and we start looking at SOP-wise what is happening in that role, and we can transform those things into skills. So in the paralegal plugin, which is a package of skills that we have a few different skills here. Obviously, there's not that many just for the purpose of the demo, but we have the document generation skill here, which you can see will invoke with the /docgen, which will generate legal documents and put them in Clio. Then we have task management as well, basically just tracking and managing tasks in Clio. And then we have task report, which is just generating a report, a status report, based on the task that exists in Clio. So we have the paralegal suite here, which is where we've aggregated all those skills that would be useful to a paralegal into one plugin. And if you have this organizational plugin section here down below the personal plugin section, what you can do is you can start to share these plugins across your different departments. So you can give all the paralegals access to the paralegal plugin. You can give the entire marketing team access to the marketing plugin. You can give the legal production team access to the attorney plugin, however you want to do it with those organizational plugins. So we have the paralegal suite here. We have the attorney suite here, where we have case strategy, where you have Claude do a little bit more in-depth analysis of a specific matter and generate case strategy for you. We have preparation for court, and we have just a strategize command. Obviously, you could add more commands here for the attorney suite. And in the legal assistant suite, we have calendar management, we have client intake, and we have a daily briefing as well as part of this plugin that we've built for the legal assistant suite. I'm going to just walk you through what these skills consist of, just an overview of the skill.md file in the skills, which is just the description of the skill. And then we're going to actually go and test the skill out in CoWork. So the skill that we're going to test in the legal assistant suite is going to be the daily briefing skill, which is generating a morning briefing with today's calendar and upcoming deadlines. So if I open that up, this is the skill.md file here, which is basically just a description for Claude CoWork to know how to use this skill. Step by step, it tells CoWork what to do: retrieve today's calendar, retrieves the upcoming deadlines, and then compile a morning briefing with the action items, right? And then we have an output example here. This is just context that's going to load into CoWork as it goes to actually create that morning briefing for us. And then the attorney suite will do the case strategy command, which again, this skill.md file is telling CoWork how to use this command. This is also something you could go in and edit yourself, but this is just an overall, it gives the technical requirements for being able to use this command. So how to use the Clio API and the client ID and the client secret, etc., etc. And then it also gives the overall, like the legal knowledge of how to build this, of how to actually execute the case strategy skill, which again, you can customize to your specific use case, but it's going to go grab the information from the Clio matter and then give us some strategy on what we should do in the case. In the paralegal suite, we're going to go with the task report skill, which is just going to read through the task that we have and give us a report of the task, right? This is just trying to demystify these skills. Basically, they're just markdown files that are giving CoWork context about how to use these skills. Real quick, if you are the owner of a boutique law firm and you need help setting up automations like these or getting started with tools like Claude CoWork, there's a link you can click on in the description to see how I can help you out with that. So let's get right back to the video. I'll come back into CoWork now. I want to make sure that I'm in a folder that has the necessary .env file. So if you need help setting up the .env file and the connection to be able to connect Clio into Claude CoWork, I'll leave a link to another video of mine in the description. You can check that video out. It will walk you through how to create the file that you need to have in this folder in order to make that connection. Basically, once that connection is made, I can just write / in the chat, and I can scroll down through here and I can see all of the skills that I have. And I can also see the plugins, right? So the plugins are basically the headers, and then the skills are beneath the plugin. So we have the paralegal suite here, the attorney suite is here, and the legal assistant suite is here. And so the first thing we're going to test is the daily briefing for the legal assistant suite. I'm just going to run that and hit enter and see what happens. We have the skill going through, checking our calendar, checking our tasks that are due today, and then giving us the most important deadlines here and the overdue items that we have to address, right? So working pretty well. And all that we basically need to do is just use this daily briefing command to run this daily briefing for us, right? You could also have the daily briefing command be specific to certain individuals in Clio if you want to do it that way. But that's basically the daily briefing command. So if we go on to the next command, let's try one of the paralegal commands. So paralegal task report, let's go task report for the paralegal. Okay, and then we have the task report as well. So it figured out how to use the credentials and access the API and then give us a report for the task that we have for the day. So if I open this up, this gives us the pending tasks, overdue tasks, due today, due this week. And we've gone through in the skill and we've specified the format that we want this output to be in. And it's giving us back that exact format, right? Also gives us the task by the different matters. Again, you could get really granular with this and have this be tasked by different users, all that kind of stuff, right? But that's the task report for the paralegal skill. And as we're going through this, I want you guys to think about what other skills you could add to these plugins, right? So what other things would you have your paralegals doing that could end up being skills or could end up being part of these plugins, right? Now for the attorney skill, let's go /. Let's do case strategy. And then I'll give it the matter here. Let's grab one of these matters from Clio. And I'll just say the Smith matter. Okay, so we have the case strategy skill as well, which has all the knowledge of how to formulate case strategy the way that we want it formulated. It does a really good job here of pulling the correct matter and also noticing that there's another related matter here. So it analyzes both of those matters together and then gives us the final case strategy memo here. So I open this up. It gives us an overview of the matter, the key parties, the timeline for the case, the strengths, risk analysis, all these different sections here. And you could obviously go through and you could specify how you want your own sections to be created using the skill or adapting or adjusting the skill, which I'm going to show you guys how to do in a second here. But the case strategy section as well does this really well, right? So now from here, we could even have it do further things, create tasks if you want to. You see it asking here if it wants us to create tasks or set up relationships or whatever else we want it to do. But this is just how you start to take these repetitive processes and just turn them into skills. And you can start to package them into plugins based on the roles in the firm. So paralegals have plugins, legal assistants have a special plugin, attorneys or different attorneys have different plugins, marketing has a plugin, et cetera. And then the last thing that I want to show you guys how to do is how to actually adapt these skills. And so if you want to make a change or a tweak to a skill, you could obviously go in and do it manually, but you can also do a pretty good job of adjusting the skill in CoWork itself. Let's say I wanted to change the skill, so I always have a heading at the top with the name of my firm, for example, right? Just a small change I want to make to the skill. All I'd have to do is just mention the skill, again, using the / command, and then just tell CoWork, can you adapt this skill? I want to make sure that any documents you prepare for court prep always have my heading at the top that says Law Office of Masai Brown Andrews. Please make the change to the skill and then give it back to me so I can save it with the amended changes in place. Then I can run this, have Claude make the changes to the skill, give it back to me, and I can update the skill like that as well. All right, and then we have Claude going through, making the changes to the skill. Obviously, we could test the skill as well with, all we would do is just use court prep. and we could test the skill to make sure that it actually made the changes as we wanted it to. And we can go back and forth and iterate on the skill until it is what we want it to be. But once it's done, we can actually open the skill here and see the README file of the skill.md file and make sure that the skill is written the way we want it to be written. And then we can just save the skill. And that's all it takes to update skills or make changes to skills or even create new skills as well, right? So that's how flexible skills are. So that's how you can start to map internal firm roles to actual skills and plugins in Claude CoWork. As always, thank you guys a ton for watching the video. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment down below, let me know what other types of content you want to see, and also subscribe so you don't miss any more videos like these. Thank you guys a ton for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.